It's called The Daily Grind. This is an essay. On occasion, I walk into one of the coffee shops near where I work. There's a Starbucks nearby, of course, but then there are others that may or may not be part of a chain. Port City Java, Coffee Underground, Coffee Beanery, Joel's Java, You're the One, Jitters, Shakey's, The Burro's Back, Postcards from Tijuana. There are sharecroppers working larger land tracts in the south in the square quarter mile where these roasting businesses seem to thrive. Usually I have to wade in, look at the glaze-eyed teenager working the counter and say, just give me a regular, house blend, a regular old regular coffee, close as you can get to Folgers or Maxwell House, chock full of nuts. In the past, the counter people usually cocked their heads to one side, and for a while I thought they'd never heard of these brands. Maybe they thought, what kind of coffee doesn't have the word forest, jungle, pampas, or biodiversity in its title? Then I realized that they couldn't hear me, all the noise. Not only the mournful, suicide-inducing music playing overhead, but the constant tapping of fingers on keyboards. This has to stop immediately. Let me say now that I have never walked into, say, Daily Grind and found athletes scattered around the tables performing squat thrusts, doing crunches and push-ups, or counting out sets of curls. Nor have I seen seamstresses roll out bolts of cloth, cut out patterns, then whip out their sewing machines. I've not seen veterinarians haul in their sick canines, pull them out of portable pet carriers, and administer rabies and parvo vaccinations. There have been exactly 0 potters working their wheels, taxidermists stuffing their bobcats, toxicologists using petri dishes to play checkers, circus performers practicing their knife throwing, pilots working some kind of virtual reality takeoff and landing apparatus, or exotic dancers using the cream and sugar kiosk as some kind of bar. One time I saw a general practitioner trying to drum up free breast exams, but he got kicked out. So what's with all the so-called writers thinking their craft is some kind of spectator sport? When did novelists, essayists, and poets, especially poets, come to believe that everyone would be mesmerized, enchanted, and enthralled with having to look at their tortured selves staring blankly at the ceiling tiles before typing out something like, her collection of Mardi Gras beads? Like stringed coffee beans. Remind me of the last time I saw her when she slapped me in the face and said, get lost, loser. I don't get it. Knife throwers would be a different story, but not writers. Now, someone with a bigger heart and more patience might argue, they're beginning writers, George. They can't afford the electricity to run their brand new laptops. Fine and dandy. I don't notice them ordering regular house blend coffees the likes of 8 o'clock, which cost on average $1.87 for a Grande, Venti, and Norme, Gordo, whatever it's called. No, they're getting the things with chocolate syrup and whipped cream and sprinkles, which cost upwards of $6. I'm no mathematician, but 6 times 30 comes to $180. No one pays $180 a month to provide electricity for a hovel where beginning poets should live, by the way. They need to view the outside world for ideas, George. Writers young and old need to experience life around them. Okay, this argument almost makes sense. Great. I've already pointed out how there were no veterinarians, seamstresses, taxidermists, toxicologists, exotic dancers, or knife throwers inside these places. So what's to write about? People ordering cups of coffee? Other miserable poets? If these coffee house denizens want to see the world and write about it, then they should pack up their laptops and moleskins, jump a freight train to somewhere like North Dakota or Patagonia, and drink campfire coffee with hobos and gauchos. I ask that everyone out there who walks into a coffee shop sees someone wearing an ascot, smoking an imaginary pipe, fiddling with 18 metal rings stapled into his or her face, and straining to come up with a synonym for desperate. Please go up to said writer and say, what do you think about Faulkner? How's about the good old agrarian poets? Hey, let's you and me recite some of James Dickey's poems together. If you're lucky, the beanhead will ask, who are these magical writers of which you mention? Then you can mention how these writers all had small rooms off at the far end of their houses with maybe some framed pictures of their dogs, dead dogs, and spouses on their desk near their typewriters. There were half-filled bottles, more than likely, and empty ones that brought good luck at one time or another. There were ashtrays, knives, smooth stones, found pennies, and bones. Fishing lures. A list of editors who've either shown interest or wrongly misread the writer. Some voodoo dolls, packs of matches, folk art, and a dictionary. This is how a writer's workplace should appear. Never shall the words sprinkles or whipped cream show up. If the would-be writer looks befuddled, then you can point out the nearest public library, a place where more writers should hang out if indeed they don't own a desk. In order to clean up America best, keep a list of all the public libraries from North Dakota to Chile.